Hello everyone, my name is Imperius and welcome back to Eviternity II. Today we're doing map number 24, Temerary. Temerary? It's the boat level. And it's got a pretty tricky opening. The first 10 minutes of this level, while we try and establish a foothold, are pretty mean, pretty intense. This whole level is actually pretty difficult, pretty consistently difficult throughout. But I'm going to show you a few tricks and strategies that have worked quite well for me. So we start off assailed by three sides. We've kind of there's multiple phases to this level. The beginning part is like what I would say is the outside area of the complex. Then you've got the inside where we do a bunch of set piece fights, we get some keys, and then there's the final fight on the SS or HMS Temerary itself at the end of the level. And we kind of just got to do a sweep around the whole of the outside first, just to kill everything and clear our path. There's a lot of very high tier enemies. I think I got blocked there by a pinky demon, a green pinky demon. So yeah, there's astrals coming in everywhere. There's arachnotrons. There may be arachnotrons. There's arch vials. There's mancubi. Getting boxed in here. That was very lucky that I didn't get absolutely destroyed there. But the first couple minutes, I mean, we're what, one minute and a half in and we're already at like 41 kills. That's pretty good going. You can kind of have a bit of fun with it because you're not really committed. You're not really committed yet. You're not far enough in where you need to really tighten up the play. So I would recommend just sort of playing this first area, exploring it, find a way that works for you, but don't stress too much about it, because once we get this first area locked in, we can tighten the skill a little bit and play a bit better. Now, you saw I jumped out the window there and picked up that plasma gun. I would say that's a secret, but it's like a non-secret secret. You just got to jump over there and get the plasma gun. Ammo is it's probably about right, I'd say. It's not tight, but you do have to be a little careful with what you're doing with it. So we won't be using that plasma just yet. We're going to just stick to bullets and shells. See, I've got a rocket launcher, but I don't actually have many rockets, so I'm going to come up here and get some more. Don't want to hang around in the middle there too much, because stuff can shoot you. So try and get into this little alcove here, and then we can deal with the rest of this stuff. Now that Astral Mancubus is infighting, but I'm going to try and take the opportunity to kill him, because those things are pretty deadly. So I think this is one of, if not the longest level in the WOD so far. I mean, what's this level coming in at? Like 35 minutes or so? I can't remember if map 32 was... I think map 32 ended up being something similar to that as well, which sticks out in my mind as another fairly long one. I don't think I've had anything longer than 40 minutes. The Ice theme episode has actually had some really good long levels in it. I've enjoyed those. The last 2 or 3 especially have been very good. And I know I say this a lot. In fact, I say it so much so that it kind of loses all credibility, but this is definitely my favourite episode. Definitely my favourite level of this episode. And this is a contender for top of the pack. I do like this one. But then that's perhaps a little biased, because this map was made by Antares, and I do have a bit of a soft spot for the type of levels that they produce. They tend to be the sort of thing that I very much enjoy. So I was always going to enjoy this one, most likely, just because it plays into the sort of thing I like. And of course they are just an exceptional mapper. Now we're going to be cheeky and kill that chain gunner up there. He usually dies to infighting, so I don't mind using the chain gun just to finish him off. Now, that yellow door there, that's sort of getting inside the base, so that's I'd call it's part 2 of this level, or the beginning of part 2. But we've got to get the yellow key first, which is the other side of the map. So we'll just continue cleaning up first, and then we'll go over there and get it. So done this little outside area. Get the rockets, get the armor. You can actually see the yellow key. It's up on that pillar there. What's the other key? Must be it's a blue key then. That's over in the distance. But yeah, we're going to come into these caves. This is where we're going to go to get the whatever color key it is. We're going to go get blue. I think it's blue. We'll go with blue. But the caves are of course packed full of monsters, so we have to kill them there. Yeah, look at the floor there. You can see those concentric light circles. It's just a nice little touch, isn't it? Just changing the brightness in the sector, but it's just a nice little touch. Thought I'd point that out. So far, I'd say there isn't really a strategy as such for this. This is kind of just getting through this sort of ambient monsters and the difficulty of the level, which is quite high, I have to say. Is this why I said at the start? I think the best thing you can do for this is kind of just play the first 10 minutes of this, play the outside area, get a feel for it, and then approach it in a way that works for you. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing teleporting in. There's no traps per se. It's just clearing out the monsters that are there. Once you have your routing down for the weapons, because like you've seen double shotguns in like 3 different places. Like there's multiple routes you could go. Do try and get the plasma gun, because that's over that little jump, and you'll need that for emergencies. And the same with the rocket launcher. I'm trying to think, are there multiple rocket launchers? Possibly. And then, yeah, like this guy, that's a surprise archvile there. You don't want to accidentally run into him. But once you've sort of played this, and it is quite different on Ultraviolence in terms of the monsters and the placement to Annihilate Me. But once you've played this, and you get a feel for where everything is, yeah, just come up with an approach that works for yourself. That would be my recommendation, because I'm not really doing a strategy here at all. I'm just making use of my foreknowledge of where the enemies and the items are to try and place, I would say safely, but I mean, this isn't particularly safe. This is just casually playing through and having a bit of fun. There's an Orangatron. Right, now he's got the blue key up on that little pillar there. I suppose this is maybe... You could maybe classify this bit as a fight. Because we're going to go down here, we're going to press this button to lower the key. There'll be an Astral Mancubus teleporting back at the other end of the column, along with a whole bunch of pinkies. And you can see, I'm just trying to see if I can get him to infight a little bit. I think he's in-fought some of the Pinky Demons, but I mean, they've got no chance against this guy. So then we'll just count off 7 rockets into him so that we can kill him off. Watch out for the yellow. That should be enough. And it is. Now, inside the blue door, turn to the right, press this little purple switch. That will lower a soul sphere for you. Might as well pick that up now, because we aren't going to come back here. And then we're just going to go back and continue to clean up some stuff that we didn't do before. Now, remember that red door there, because we will come back here. That's sort of part of phase 3 of this level, which we'll get to. Now, it definitely is worth clearing this area out now, because the next time we come to this area, you see that yellow door on the top left? We'll be coming out from that door, and if this area is still populated at that time, it's more for us to kill. We'll actually be over where that Nightmare Demon is as well, to press that switch. That switch obviously lowers the red key that you can see in the middle, which in turn allows us to go back to that red door. But again, getting a little ahead of ourselves. We will come back here. My advice is just to clear it out now if you can. Now, come up here, press the blue key switch. That's going to lower the yellow key. That jump to the cell pack is pretty tricky. I think maybe in Vanilla Doom you can do like an SR50 or some sort of faster run. Not exactly sure if you can or how to do that in GZ Doom. But if you get the angle right, you can make that jump. Definitely when I practice this, it has taken me like 5 or 6 attempts sometimes to make that jump, but it worked out well today, which is good, because this is the recorded attempt. I could have just said that it's always like that, and you wouldn't have had any evidence to believe otherwise, but wouldn't have been true. Okay, so I would say now that is officially the first part of this level done. We've done the outside area, first 10 minutes, we've cleared 200 enemies, like that's a lot. And now we're going into the second part of this level, which is the inside of the base. The main objective for this sort of next section is to clear out the inside of the base. And once everything is cleared out, once everything is dead, then we'll sort of move on to phase 3, as I'm now calling it, which is doing the 3 set-piece fights that are contained in the base, and pretty tricky individual fights by themselves, but I've got some strategies I can talk you through when we get there. For now, objective is kill everything in the base. This is a little easier than the outside, just because by this point, like, we've got, you know, blue health, blue armor, we've got everything apart from the BFG. It's we're more equipped to deal with the situation, shall we say. And we've got plenty of other secrets and power-ups and stuff to get as we go through as well. Now when you come in here, yeah, you might have noticed there's a little trap there with a astral and a pain elemental that came out. Nothing too bad though. Now, if you see where I'm shooting at the moment, those green barons, there's like a green face on a screen next to them. See that green face over there behind them? That's actually a switch for one of the secrets that we're going to get to. I don't know if I found that myself or if I looked it up on Doom Builder. Maybe it was the latter. But yeah, that's what we've got to do to get one of the secrets, so worth just pointing it out now, because I might just do it a bit quickly when we actually get there. I don't think we've seen an example in the WOD where we've had that kind of secret before. I mean, this is something that's true about a lot of compilation maps, is that you can have some inconsistencies. I mean, you're inevitably going to have inconsistencies, right? Because it's different people producing sort of different maps. Yes, the design concepts might be similar, but the implementation is always going to be slightly different, and so you can have like differences in secrets, and I think it's most notable in differences in secrets but also somewhat more nuanced in structures of fights and monsters as well. Compare that to, say, a one-man 32 megawatt or, 5, 6, whatever many levels it is. You kind of get a feel after a certain amount of time playing the levels how the designer is hiding their secrets and the sort of things to look for. So it can make it, when you're not playing that kind of thing, a little trickier to try and second guess how secrets are, implemented in maps. That's certainly what I find. Because I don't think I've seen another example in this ward where a green face has been used as a switch. And similarly, going back to one of the points I made in map 18, I don't think there are any other examples where secrets have just been replaced with health bonuses or armor bonuses. And it can make it a little... I suppose it's just the inconsistency makes it a little harder to predict exactly what's going to happen. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing either. It's just notably different. So that's the exit where we need all 3 skull keys. And the 3 skull keys we will get from one from each fight. Actually standing in an arena right now for one of the set piece fights. Maybe it's either the second hardest or the third hardest. I say third hardest out of 3 because using the word easiest is wouldn't be the right choice of word. They're all pretty tricky. I think though the one that in the middle there does have a pretty good strategy for it, which again we'll show you shortly when we get there. Once we finish clearing out the base. Where'd you come from? Right, tease your way around this corner because there's a lot of enemies here. The base, as we've been going through, you might have just thought to yourself, oh hang on, what was that way or what was this way? The whole thing kind of loops together, which is really nice. Like there's a lot of different ways you can approach the different areas of this fight. Like when we turn this corner, all of those corporals were facing away from us, right? Because you can legitimately come in from the bottom of this area and fight up. It's not the way I do it, but I don't think it's... I mean, I've never done it another way, so I can't comment. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be any less valid to do if that's what you wanted to do. So I suppose the same advice is outside. Play it, get a feel for the placement, and then pick a strategy that works for you. Now something that's super important to do is to go through here, stand by this gap, and pump rockets into this little gap here. So this is really important to do because all of these enemies in here, which you'll notice includes archviles, you are preemptively killing a monster closet for that fight I was mentioning a little earlier on. And that's what makes that fight very manageable. Shout out to the boat, by the way. By killing that little room of enemies behind that door, when it opens, they'll just be corpses, and you can safely run in there, get a megasphere, and then use it as a rat hole to finish off that fight. It'll make more sense once we get to it. But I was doing this once, I think as a... it was like a recorded run, it was an attempt where I got to that fight and I realised I'd forgotten to clear out that cupboard. I went to run in it and just got annihilated. Use the plasma here because there's a lot of violimps that sort of teleport in behind you once you open this door and come outside. They actually come out of a little warehouse that opens up, which also has a blue baron in it, so do be careful of him. Does it have 2 blue barons in it? It does. And there's a berserk in there if you need it as well. But now we're back to where that Nightmare Demon was earlier. We're going to press this switch. It's going to lower the red key. And then there's a whole bunch of Astrals that will teleport in. You can see them down there. And now we can kill them pretty easily. Pretty focused on them. There's some Nightmare Demons. I think some Hell Knights as well that come from the other way. But you can see what I mean earlier when I was saying it's much better just to have this area clear. To do this little bit, which is why I do recommend clearing out all of the outside first. Right, now to do the first set piece fight. We're going to go through this red door into this little arena. It's pretty tricky, but you can do it with what you've got at the moment. All you really need is the plasma gun, really. I'm not going to pick up the Megasphere just yet. I'm going to poke my nose over the top to try and wake up these enemies because, well, I don't want to be taking ship damage once I've picked up that Megasphere. I just want to be at 200. And there's one more Astral down there. So you're going to drop down into here, and what's going to happen when we press the switch is... like waves of enemies will teleport in. There's going to be some on the boxes around the arena, and then some spawning in the arena. Things like floaters, Hell Knights, Revenants, the usual crowd, culminating in some Archviles. So it's pretty tricky. What you want to do is, basically the key strategy to this fight is to keep the edge clear, run around in circles. Obviously prioritize Astrals above everything else. But then shortly, once the Astral Mancubi start teleporting in, we're going to deliberately not target them in order to promote infighting. So you can see, for now, we've basically established our rhythm for this fight, which is to run in circles. If we need to, we can dive in for a Soul Sphere or a Megasphere. Easy said than done. But the idea is here is to keep moving and to let the Astral Mancubi infight. So that was pretty sketchy and pretty lucky at the same time. And now we're just keeping going. We're going to have some Revenants coming in next. Oh, we got Chain Gunners. Kill them first. Here come the Revenants. I think that's the last one before Archviles. Using the plasma to push things through. Push through things. There's an Archvile. I've got to prioritize him. Got the blue armor. Keep going. I'd like to go get that Soul Sphere, but we'll have to make use of medkits for now. Cyber Baron. There we go. There we go. So, in hindsight, I would actually say that probably is the least hard of the three. So I'm not quite sure why I did it first. But one more surprise, there's a hell of a lot of Astrals and Spectral Astrals come through here. Just keep the rocket launcher on full blast and yeah, you should be good. And then that takes us back to the start. We can use this teleporter to get us back quickly. And it's on to the next set piece fight. This one, I think this one is the hardest. This one, in my opinion, is the hardest because it's got quite a lot of Cyber Demons, as well as Archviles, and they all come from all different directions. So you've got to be very conscious of not getting rocketed. There are quite a lot of power-ups, like it's pretty generous, but they can very quickly go away if you aren't playing too carefully. They're also in the middle, which makes them quite hard to grab. So, let's get back to full ammo. Press this button. That's going to bring in a cyber demon. We want him to splash the archviles so that they don't target us. And then... yeah. Sometimes that's just inevitable. Really none of them targeting the cyber demon? I don't see how that's possible. Off to a fairly poor start. So we have to emergency grab that megasphere. And now stuff is teleporting in. So the right side has opened first, so we're just going to do a left side horseshoe and try and focus stuff down. Again, ideally the cyber demon does a lot of the work for us. We've got imps in now, so we will reverse our pattern to doing a full loop until the right side opens, and then we're going to do left side horseshoes to try and stay away from all those revenants. You can also duck into that open building if you need more cells. I think there's a megasphere in there as well, which we can get a bit later on. So I'm not going to aggro those archfiles, they look like they're nice and busy. Reverse directions. Dip in there, but obviously be careful not to get trapped. And now we're just going to clean up the last two cyber demons. I don't know if one of them dies. I'm sure there was 3 in this arena. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you can see, like, that's a very dangerous fight. There's a lot of stuff that can kill you there. I took a lot of damage, but actually there's still 2 soul spheres and at least 1 mega armor that I can see that's around. So I'm glad that they were fairly generous with the power-ups. Like, I can definitely see a world where that fight is produced with like a single megasphere, which obviously does make it a lot harder. I'm glad they decided not to go down that route, because I think this was enjoyable, but it didn't feel too overwhelming. That gets us the yellow key. You can push your way through these boxes for a secret. That is a megasphere, but I believe on Ultraviolence it is actually a BFG, but you don't get that on Annihilate Me, which does change the way that the sort of level plays out, because otherwise you would do that fight first and get the BFG. Now, we've got one more fight to do. We've opened up the cupboard already, so I'm okay there. I'm going to step through this teleporter. Takes us to the middle. As soon as we step off this platform, we're going to start getting overwhelmed. And again, now that I think about it, this is the hardest fight. Why did I leave this to last? Why didn't I do this first? Such mysteries. But the strategy here is kind of, well, run in circles, stay alive, and wait for the room that had all of the archviles to open up, and then we're going to dive in there and use it as a safe space. That's the plan. So it starts off with stuff that we can herd in the middle, so we're just doing loops. A whole bunch of imps is going to start coming soon, some Hell Knights. I can see some Nightmare Demons now. But it's going to get to the point where we won't be able to do the loops. Here come the imps, look. So we'll just try and kill what we can for now. And just keep our eye on that back door. See, look, this is way too tight to push through, so I'm going to have to leave back. This I don't have no choice but to push through. And the door is open now, so I can dive in here when I need to, when I get pushed back. I've got a megasphere, I've got a whole bunch of cells. I should be fine from now on. I think I accidentally picked that Megasphere up. Ooh, the Astral Mancubi is coming straight at me. That's not good. Those things are tough. But imagine if that door opened and instead of having a nice safe space for the Megasphere to run into, you get ganked by 2 Archviles and 2 Blue Barons and whatever else was in here. Super important, super impactful secret. Press that switch, that resets all the bars for the room, and then you can get out, get some more rockets. Nah, we got to. I mean, we got to stay here to kill everything anyway. So we're looking pretty good. So I think that's pretty much it for the third phase of this level. The 3 set-piece fights are done. We've got all the keys. There's just a couple secrets left to pick up. Saw me get one of them there. Now that you've got to jump over to this little window. Gives you a soul sphere, which I don't need. And now we can go to the final fight, which is on the boat itself. And I really like what they've done with this in Annihilate Me. I always thought it was a kind of a missed opportunity in the RC5 Ultraviolence version I played. But two phases to this. Okay, this is me just taking a deep breath. First is the Cyberdemon Square. So what we're going to do here is we're going to shoot the plasma directly at him, and then we're going to run in a slow and controlled square circle, making sure to go slowly enough that we don't end up crossing rockets, but also fast enough that we obviously don't get hit by those rockets. And then as soon as that's done, we're just going to dive in and go through the teleporter, turn around, and start blasting. This is the change I really like on Annihilate Me, is that this boat was actually empty on Ultraviolence, but I think all these commandos make a really nice addition. There's also some Archviles. So you want to stay at the back here, behind the, I don't know, the cockpit of the boat, the bridge. I don't know boat places. But the point of staying here is that the Cyberdemons don't have a line on you, which is something you've always got to be mindful of when you're doing this fight. And now we can go forward like this and kill some more of the guys with the rocket launcher. Same on the other side. There'll still be a couple stragglers, but we can get them once the Cyberdemons are dead. Now, the really fun part of this fight is that you don't actually have to kill any of those Cyberdemons with your weapons. What we're going to do is we're going to use the weapons of the ship. We're going to shoot them with the cannons, and it's pretty awesome. So just holding there in case any rockets came off. But we press this button, the cannons fire, all the Cyberdemons die, and you didn't quite see it there, but it's blown a big hole behind them as well, which is how we're going to exit the level. So I really like that flourish. We'll just wait for the rockets to subside, and then we'll go find the final 5 chain gunners. Here they are. 2 more. And that's it. That's the level done. All kills, all secrets. Back to the gun emplacement. There's the hole. Turn around. Teleports you over there. There's the ship. And here's the hole we blasted into the wall for the next level. Teleport there to get back if you need to. But that's it. That's map 25. I mean, that was amazing. That was absolutely epic. I really enjoyed that level. Everything about it was just top quality. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm sure you will too. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.